If you are excited for tactical trades, get yourself a cracker and eat it because I'm hungry. It's been a long day.
Can I have one, Tim?
It's been a long day, and I was very hungry. And I just found out about
Mukbang?
mukbang. All right, this is a mukbang tactical trades where we're eating crackers. Here you go, teach room. You can have this. Hold on, it's giving me trouble.
Try to get it in my
All right,
mouth.
here's your cracker. Oh, where's you ready?
Yeah.
There we go.
I caught it. That was delicious.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Investing Bros Tactical Trades. I got a new bookshelf behind me, formerly belonging to TJ. That cracker was drier than I thought. Definitely soaked out. What the heck's having light? Soaked out all the moisture.
It's a celebration. Those are the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Man, this is the show, guys, where we have fun and we do trading talk and we talk about all the coins you guys want to see. If you guys are just jumping over from ATB, how about bringing home the W to Investing Bros? Yeah, it was
That
a good
calls
day.
for an air horn.
You didn't come show support tonight on ATB?
Oh, I was lurking. I was doing some lurking, but I must admit I was playing a video game that had my attention from my fingers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, it was the only hour block I had to not work. So a lot of writing today.
It is funny. Sometimes even my family will ask, like, because they know kind of what I do. Sometimes my dad still asks me, "So what do you do again?" And I'm like, "I work for a YouTube channel," and they'll be like, "So what do you do all day?" I'm like, "Nothing. We don't. Yeah, we just
watch YouTube."
Around. Yeah, it's pretty much all.
That's what YouTube channels do. They watch YouTube
require
videos.
Any work to do all this stuff. I'm in a good mood. I feel like right now, teacher, I'm in a tired, happy mood, meaning I'm so tired I don't care about professionalism. So I feel like this actually might be more entertaining than
I was getting those vibes on the pre-call.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take it a little silly. We're going to do some TA. We're going to do some trading. For the most part, we are staying below the 4-hourly candle for the most part. We might check out daily just to get some setup stuff, but we want to really look through, are there any good trade setups in the space right now? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by looking at the Bitcoin TA, and you guys in chat, you get to give suggestions. But for this show with tactical trades, we do take the suggestions from our members. Those are the green names with the green badges. You guys get to give them recommendations. If you're saying, man, how the heck do I get a hold of one of those really cool looking green names and green badges? It's very easy. There's a little join button right down there. You can check out just by Investing Bros. Become a member. Really cool perks. We had our silver members bro time today. That was a lot of fun. And we have some other stuff coming out very, very soon for you guys. So make sure if you want to be a part of our suggestions, if you have a coin you want us to look at trading opportunities on, make sure join, become a member, and then I will take your chat. Let's start off, T-Shroom, though. Let's go look at Bitcoin here. So we're going to start actually on the daily because the daily kind of gives us the trend of what's happening right now. And I can tell you guys right now, we're at a decision point. We're sitting back at resistance. You guys can see right here. But this is not a good sign. I'm going to go ahead and start right here. And first of all, it's really easy. We're setting lower highs and lower lows. Guys, we're in a bear trend. I'm going to go ahead and spoil that for you right now. The question is, will we reject once more or are we going to break out? Because we're in this falling trading channel. Can we break above it? We did have a wick break above, but you can see very clearly where our candle is rejecting right now. As we start to move to the downside, you'll see that even more. But let's take a look at our oscillators. Let's just see how we're setting up. We are coming back up high. We're not overextended, but we're sitting low, but we're not in a place that's like screaming that we have to reverse the upside. So you're kind of seeing a mixed bag out here on the daily chart. You are seeing the oscillators be super low. You are seeing that we have the dynamic reactor and our trend assistant sitting below us. But that's maybe in this case part of a reason why I think the oscillators have further to go to the downside. Here, chart prime oscillator, we got a green reversal back here, but we flowed back up. I think we can easily drop here. We're well within money flow. The money flow is still moving. You can't even see it. It's so bad it's off the screen. RSI all the way down at about 28, but it can definitely go lower. So not a good start, guys, on the daily chart. I do believe the trend is still to the downside. Let's go take a look at what's happening on the 4-hour chart, though. Move these down. Let's just look at oscillators. Now we're getting we had a lot of oversold oscillators. We talked about this during bro time, though. I said I wanted to watch what happened with the oscillators because we were super low. We had all this oversold flashes, but then we started to get a bounce. I wanted to see, did the oscillators catch back up when we hit resistance? And there's still time here to kind of see what happens. I'm interested to see, are we working on rejecting? You guys see RSI at the 50 as we speak. Chart prime oscillator sitting right below the 0 line as we're hitting resistance. We could pop up just a little higher up towards 29,500 and maybe reject there. But at the moment, you guys can see here on the 4-hour chart, that candle, the last 4-hour candle closed right there at resistance. And again, we're approaching mid-levels, which a lot of time mid-levels on oscillators, guys, can be rejections. Let's take a look at what we're seeing on Market Oracle. We do have a dynamic reactor and our trend assistant sitting above us. So again, there's still an outside chance if the bulls do take some form of a movement. It'd be interesting to watch what happens when we get back up here towards trend assistant, maybe even up towards levels 29,750 could be very interesting for Bitcoin, but I'm still not seeing an overwhelmingly confident trade setup. Let's move on down to the hourly chart and see. Yeah, again, so here's exactly, we talked about this on bro time and it came true perfectly, guys. We came up, we hit a red reversal here within the last 2 hours. We're overextended on RSI. We got above the money flow here with our trend fusion oscillator. We came up and rejecting right there when we did this video. When we did the video earlier, bro time, we had just come up and touched the hourly dynamic reactor. Well, guess what? We could not break through it. Instead, we moved to the downside. So what I'm looking at here is not an overwhelming confidence in Bitcoin, especially in any short-term trade. So for those reasons, I do think that there's 2 potential trade opportunities on Bitcoin you could take. If you're a risky person, I think there's an opportunity right now potentially to go ahead and at the moment enter a short. Remember, guys, we're not giving financial advice. I'm not going to be, I'm just going to be very open with you guys. I'm not even going to enter this short right here. I don't really love doing shorts. Just kind of the principle of it all. But I do think there's an interesting short potential here all the way down. I told you guys, if you want to get really risky, come all the way down here. But at least you can come down. Where we've wicked, we probably will candlestick. Yeah. That right there is what is it? What is it saying? 2.44% downside, which in Bitcoin, guys, kind of these days like stocks, it's getting kind of similar there.
Let me jump in there, Tim.
Well, let me finish just the stop loss. Then I'll
go for it.
What I would do if I entered right here, I would put my stop loss just barely above this 2953 level. That's going to give me about a 1.3% stop loss here. Again, this isn't significant. So if you were going to do a trade like this, you probably are looking for an ability to use leverage so you can maximize those gains. That is the first one. But T-Shirt, I'll let you interrupt and I'll go in with the second one. But what are your thoughts there?
My thoughts there are as follows. Look. If you're looking to trade, if you're looking to short, you can do that on BitGet. And we've got a link right now. You get $20. And this isn't going to last forever. Okay, $20. It only lasts through August 7th. And it only is for the first 500 new traders. Okay, which we're gonna zip past that in no time. We're probably gonna hit that before August 7th. So you want to be in there, claim your free $20 on BitGet. Now you might be thinking, T-Shroom, I already have like 9 BitGet accounts. Make a new email, get another BitGet account. They love it. No matter what happens, you're going to love BitGet. And it doesn't mean you have to go on there and trade. You just get your $20, never make a trade.
And $20 of house money. See if you can turn 20 into 40, and then 40 into 80, and then 80 into 160, and so on and so forth.
But then you might be thinking, but T-Shroom, it's just so hard to set something up. No, it's not. Go in the description right now and go check out the description of this video. Scroll down till you see our partner links. You'll see BitGet. And you'll say, oh, wow, that is a really good looking link. And it is, because it's got our name in the link. You're going to love it. Tim, why don't we go back?
I thought you were going to give a brief explanation, but I was like, you might be thinking that looks pretty difficult. But let me tell you, it's not. This is how you're going to do it. So that cracked me up. All right, we're going to keep moving on here. There's 2 different things you can do here with Bitcoin. And I still need some suggestions from our members. So we're going to trudge on with some Bitcoin TA and potential trade setups. There's 2 different things you could do here. Remember, I talked about the significance of 29.5 or so. Again, 2,750 that's kind of worst case scenario in my opinion. What you could do is either right now enter about half of what you actually want to trade. Like, let's say you're like, hey, I want to trade and I want to short Bitcoin with $100. You could say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and enter 50 of those dollars into a short, and the other 50, if we were to come up here and hit 29.50, I'm going to enter the other 50 then. In that case, you won't get stopped out. You'll be able to continue to move. Of course, in that case, you're now moving your stop loss probably well above that 29.750. You're probably putting it a little higher up here, maybe towards 29.9 or so, a little bit above these levels here. And now we're talking about a potential trade where you're looking at closer towards 3.5% profit. And again, you could either go ahead and just put it right there because you think if we get above those levels, there's a chance to move further to the upside. Or you could even just say, let's go half and go 1.7 or so all the way up here towards 30,000. Might not be a bad thing there too. So you have a couple options here. You could enter now on a short, and I think there's plausible chance that we just move down from here. You could wait until a 29.5 or even do half and half. Or you could just go ahead and just say, you know what? I don't want to short unless we see 29.5 or 29.750. That case, that's when I'll go ahead and put my short in. But when we're looking at Bitcoin, guys, I do think the next setup here for short-term trading is not a long. I do think we're looking at shorts. And here's the thing. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. I'm not going to go into it all on today's show because this is all about looking at charts and trading. But I'm going to go and prepare you guys. Tomorrow morning is going to be, unless the price shoots up to 31,000, tomorrow morning is going to be a bearish day, and we're going to break it down why things could continue to get worse here in Bitcoin and crypto. But that being said, I'm saving that for tomorrow morning, so you got to come in and check us out, Investing Bros, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single weekday morning. Let's go ahead and go back to BroCam here, T-Shroom, and if they don't have a suggestion for us, I want you to look up your favorite stock. But anything in chat? Have they suggested anything just yet?
I'm not seeing I'm seeing Pepe mentioned, but it was kind of mentioned jokingly.
Yeah. Pepe $20 with 50x and send it. I don't know if we're going to take a look at the Pepe charts, Mr. J, unless you make a formal request by saying, please look at Pepe.
Yeah.
That's how you make formal requests on tactical trades.
I've got about 100.
Teacher, I want to see your trades. I want to see what's the one you're really big on right now? Your
Palantir.
Palantir. What are you looking at? What are you looking at on Palantir?
You want me to take a look at it on my screen, or you'd want to dive into it fresh?
No, I want. You're the one trading it. I want to see what you're doing.
Okay. All right. Let me get it. Let me get it up here for you, Timmy.
Thank you. I also get to eat another cracker. Mukbang.
That's nice. That's really nice. All right. We'll start off on the monthly chart here, as we do so often. You can see Palantir is up above now. Its upper band of the trading Bollinger Bands there. It's still under a buy rating on the monthly with a green trade assist there from Chart Prime. Also got links for that in the description. 45% off, guys. 45% off. There is not a debtor discount for Chart Prime anywhere but on the Investing Bros. I almost said the Discovery Bros. All right, but drilling into the daily chart, you can see that, well, let's stay on the monthly chart because this is beautiful. It has closed above this box. We talked about it today on the morning show a little bit in the market open, but you can see that Palantir has indeed closed a green candlestick above this box. It's on the daily, and I thought I just saw it on the monthly too. How is that possible? Yeah. Oh, well, because it's a new month, though. So there we go. That's obviously not a monthly candlestick closing quite yet, but it did get up above it, but it closed with the box inside of it. So it's also got a buy on a green trend assistant there on the daily chart. As you can see, if anything, it's probably overbought, obviously, as it bounced off the zero line there. Whoa. Bounced off the zero line there back on the 27th, and then it gapped up quite a bit twice. But, this name obviously has a lot of fundamentals going for it. Palantir, kind of AI software integration. A little bit similar to C3.ai. We can take a look at that one as well. Kind of on similar trajectories. So those are the two names that I've been really excited about in terms of mid-cap stocks. But the gas is kind of on for the mid caps, not as much so for the mega caps, which, as you can see, Microsoft barely even green today, up 0.1. Meta did pretty well. It led on the day. Amazon lost. Tesla lost. Meta, let's take a look at that one. dude, look at that. Look at that steady growth. This is since December when it kind of bottomed out back in
Well, to be fair, yeah, I mean, Meta
October.
had a really rough fall, so a little nice bounce back.
Yeah, they just got absolutely just destroyed, and then something happened. Something miraculous happened, and nobody's really sure what exactly it is, other than the fact that Facebook and Google are just dominant in advertising. I think Facebook is pretty well aligned with the ESG community, if you know what I mean. And so I think that Wall Street did not want Meta to get left behind, and so they kind of bought hook, line, and sinker the whole Meta vision. Mm-hmm. So when you change the name of the company, good things happen for your stock price, and that's what's happening here. If the CEO is compelling enough, and Mark Zuckerberg seems to be. So that's the fundamental under-over on that. We already looked at mid caps.
Well, we do have a suggestion now. We do have a suggestion in chat. Bedridden says AGLD. We're going to take a look at that in a second. Now, we do have some requests from IODO, and IODO has actually had multiple requests. Here's the thing, because I'm sitting here wrestling my brain. One of the perks of being one of our members is that you get to be the suggester of the coins. So we're going to have to stick with our policy that we can only take suggestions from our members. But there's two ways to fix this. Either AO, you can become a member, and then we get to answer your questions every single Tuesday, and then also in bro time on Tuesday afternoons. Or if you can get one of the members to second your motion for CASPA, which, by the way, I did hear CASPA is having a nice little day on the charts here, but I need a formal request from a member. That's the rules, and then we can't break the rules. We make the rules. We don't break the rules. T-shirt breaks the rules sometimes.
No.
But we need a formal request from a member before we jump in there. So IODO, two options. Again, become a member. You get to ask every single Tuesday, or convince one of those green badges that your coin choice is worth it. Let's take a look at AGLD, which is Adventure Gold. It's going to be very real with you, Bedridden. Never heard of it. Never seen it, but I do see it has been on Coinbase since back in September of 2021. So very interesting. Mm-hmm. You guys can see we recently here, like a lot of the rest of the crypto, set a new high for the year, levels we hadn't seen since all the way back in April of 2022. I'm all the way out here on the daily chart. But let's just start here on the daily chart. You guys can see there haven't been a lot of them like we've seen with Bitcoin. But we did just set officially a lower high. Now, we don't really have a lower low just yet. You can maybe make an argument that's a low. So is this a lower low? Yeah, you could make the argument. But as a whole, we need to see probably a drop in price before I would say with confirmation we're setting lower lows and lower highs. We are setting lower highs at the moment. So that's the first thing I'm looking at here. Let's look at the oscillators here. After topping out, getting an overbought with the red reversal, that did hit just right. Again, I forgot. Piper he told me what this was, but I forget what these are called. Let's call it a peak seeker, though. I want to call it a peak seeker on our trend fusion. We had that kind of come in right before the peak, giving us an indication the top was coming. Oscillator down here, the RSI just did reject off of the 50. So we're starting off, guys. Daily chart, it's on its way down. I'm going to go ahead and say daily chart, the trend is to the downside. Let's take a look at what the 4 hour is saying. Now, the 4 hour is where it is changing its tune a little bit. Now, it would have been nice, again, because these all flashed here a couple hours ago. In fact, it flashed at midnight. No, not midnight. We'll say 8 o'clock this morning, Eastern Standard Time. We did bottom out. We had bullish divergence on the 4 hour, green reversal. We dropped well below the oscillator itself dropped below the money flow. That's a positive sign. And then we had the engulfing candle flash on the RSI, as well as being super, super low there. So very, very interesting stuff. You guys can see, the reason we have a bull. This would be hidden bullish divergence, is because you can see these candles right here and these candles right here. The trend was moving to the upside here on the 4 hour chart, but the oscillators moved to the downside. So 4 hour looking bullish, and I would say it's not necessarily getting in a place where it's overextended. So even right now, 4 hour chart looking bullish. I'm going to go ahead and make the call. If there's a trade opportunity that you're looking at right now, we're more than likely looking at a shorter term long. Again, let's see what happens when you come down the hour chart. I'll reserve the right to say, hour chart getting a little more overextended. Let's see. That's a good wrestling match between the 4 hour and the 1 hour. I will say, all right, kind of wrestling through this, guys. You got to hear us kind of like go through what we're doing. We're waiting for confirmation to the downside, but the problem is we just found a bottom and more than likely are pushing the upside. 1 hour is showing us that potentially it's not ready yet, but potentially we could have a reversal coming. But you can see the money flow still aggressively moving to the upside. We're not necessarily overextended on either of our oscillators. Here's what I'll say. I don't think this is one that I would trade right now, because when we're looking at the daily chart and we're expecting probably another lower high, I don't expect us to outdo the 77-cent region here on Adventure Gold. I think what we're going to do here, Bedridden, is wait for some oversold flashes on the 1 hour. More than likely, I would say if we got a combination of oversold flashes on 1 hour with mid-level oscillators on the 4 hour, I probably am interested at that point in taking a look there. And again, what we're looking for more than likely is something more in the region of this price action right in here between 68 cents and 70 cents. You guys can see those are some multi-time frame resistance levels. Is there anything significant here? Okay, we got the dynamic reactor and trend assistant right above us. What is the 4 hour saying? Is there? Okay, look at this. There we go. Dynamic reactor, more than likely a bounce on rejection off the 4 hour dynamic reactor right at those resistance levels could be pretty important. Let's turn these off though for just a second, and I want to take a look at some other figures we have going on here. Let's take a look at Fibonacci, and I need to really quickly move my oscillators to the downside. Let's go from bottom to top and just even see what we're looking at here. You can see we came down and bounced off of the platinum pocket. That is a good sign to the downside continuing. When you hit platinum pocket, that means in this case, that platinum pocket to the downside, that means the bears have garnered a lot of control to wick all the way down that far. So potentially what we're looking at, do we make a rebound back up here towards, remember I said 68 to 70 cents? Well, guess what? We got a 0.382 level right in that area. Here's what I'm going to say. I think you're not entering anything right now. I think an interesting short position could be around this 0.382 level. But even further confirmation, let's take a look at what the fixed range volume profile is saying. And to do this, let's go back. Let's go back maybe even to when this rally started. I wonder if we're going to see not necessarily that. Okay, that far back is not going to give us too much. 73 cents is our value area high right there. Let's maybe take a closer look then. Let's go back to potentially this bottom right here and see what is happening. We did just bounce off the point of control. Value area high is too high. So let's zoom in just a little bit closer and maybe take a look at from this bottom, now taking in all of this information. There we go. Kind of more what I'm looking for. A third kind of confirmation. Value area high sitting there at 68 cents. I think that 68 cents to 70 cent region, interesting place to take a risk here. I'm not going to say this is the most confident trade I would go into, but it does look like, again, with the concept of setting lower highs and lower lows, making it look like what we're doing in the longer time frame, we are currently rallying and have room to the upside. Out of curiosity, what would that mean if I were to enter? Let's just even pretend that I could predict with perfection we're going up to that level. That would give us a little push of about 7%, not terrible, but again, not everything you want it to be. If I go ahead and enter that short, let's just see where I would even put all of my levels. I'd enter my short right there at 68 cents. I would more than likely put my stop loss somewhere right here above this peak, because you never know when things double top. And so you don't want to put it perfectly right at that. You do want to put it slightly higher. That gives us a 15% short, though. So what you'd want to kind of make this worth it, you're looking more for a 30-cent long. I'm not going to say with any type of real conviction I'd have to agree with that. Let's just take a look, going back out one more time. Let's go to daily chart and let's take a look at Fibonacci levels. This would be a longer, I don't know if that's something that's going to happen very quickly, but that would be a longer term trade. Let's go back to Fibonacci and see if there's any confirmation down at those levels. You get down into the platinum pocket. There's a decent chance we come back down to the bottom of that platinum pocket. Not a trade, though, Bedridden. I'm really loving at the point, but I do have to say, after looking at what I'm looking at, I'll make one more move. I'll make one more edit to this trade and say that this would be a good trade setup. Let's keep our entry right there, 68 cents. Let's shorten our stop loss and say we just don't expect it to move back above this wick right here. Let's go ahead and match it with that wick. Since we did have a little bit of a false rally right there and then we rejected. Now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to say we're going to match our bottoms here. We're going to go no lower than these bottoms. We're going to go to value area low. So we got a potential 17% profit, 7% stop loss. That's a good looking trade set up right there. Again, confidence level, let's call it 30%, 40% maybe. But yeah, that's if I'm entering a trade on a venture gold, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Let's go back to BroCam here, T-Shroom, and take a look at other suggestions we had in chat.
Yeah, we won't. I want to cover something really quick. We got NIO, which is a Chinese EV company. So if you can pull that up one, Tim. I wanted to cover NIO.
NIO?
It's a stock, yeah.
So just NIO. That's all we're looking at. NIO.
Yeah. While you're doing that, it does look like it's, I don't know if it's breaking because I've been seeing some headlines around this all day, but Trump charged with 4 counts over 2020 election.
I mean,
is that?
It might be breaking, but it's not really new news. I mean,
it is. This was posted at 6:20 on CNBC. Yeah. Former President Trump indicted special counsel probe election interference. Yeah. I mean, look, it's counts, right? So it's still going to go to court, right? This isn't a court ruling. It's going to court. Trump charged with 4 counts.
I don't know, man. It's a bunch of chaos happening there.
Yeah. All right, back to the Chinese EVs.
Okay. So what is this? Out of curiosity, what am I looking at?
It's a Chinese electric vehicle company.
All right. Like
Tesla,
had a nice little rally here. Got back above some levels that we hadn't been at since October of 2022. So not a full year, obviously, but we're coming. We're in August now. That's a good 3 quarters. High for 3 quarters of price action here. You guys can see just small observation I'm making here. After kind of creating a little bit of a gap, we went ahead today and refilled that gap. This is not doing anything actively right now, T-Shirt, right? The stock market is closed, but this is kind of okay. Yeah. All right, daily chart. Guys, clearly we're heading to the upside here. The question is, are we overextended? Yeah, sure enough, we are. Although I will say, again, I said this during bro time. We got our Christmas tree decorations, but the price keeps moving to the upside. This is a sign of how strong bulls are. Now, we are high. We are high on the oscillators right now. We had a lot of different peak seekers. The RSI sitting really high at 93. So these are all signs that saying we could go to the downside, but it's also, I want to take a look at some smaller time frames here. But the trend right now is to the upside, and the question is, are we topping out? Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Yeah, very much overextended. This is not when you're entering any long. You're looking for short opportunities here, and sure enough, even though we continue to move to the upside, we are moving down in the oscillator now, even picking up some steam down here. So I'm still going to kind of look at the 4-hour chart and say it's an interesting one to short. Whew. A lot of decorations that were ignored up until this last one, but we did get some bearish divergence, red reversal. Money flow is for sure flowing to the downside. The problem with this T-Shroom is that we've done it. Like we moved the downside slightly. I just don't know if there's that much there to short there. I will say, we set a new high. There is a chance that people want to take shorts on this. It's definitely, I'm leaning that direction in shorts. I'm not leaning at any long here on NIO whatsoever. Let's take a look at some of these other indicators and see if we can garner anything else. We got a trend assistant right below us on the 1-hour. Look how far we are away from the 1-hour dynamic reactor. I can only assume. Let's see what the daily dynamic reactor is doing. Super down low. 4-hour, super, super low. Man, that is crazy to be that far above those. Yeah, maybe we are looking at a short opportunity. Maybe it's time to kind of retrace and revisit down to dynamic reactor. You definitely are taking a risk to do so.
What are you looking to see in order to go ahead and take that short?
I would love to see more. I'd love to see more confidence that this is actually rejecting. We talked about this last week. There's a lot of temptation to see this and say we're really overextended to the upside. I want to go ahead and short it. The problem is that's what a lot of experienced traders take advantage of, and you end up seeing liquidations. Guys, there was a good argument to short right here, right? Look at all that we're seeing here on the 1-hour chart. Good argument to short. You would have gotten wrecked. Right here, we have bearish divergence, red reversal. Good argument to short. You would have got wrecked. Right here, we had a peak seeker, more divergence. You would have got wrecked. Now, so far, if you had shorted at this one, you're doing okay. You're down. You would be in profit right now, about 5% in your short, but we're not that far above the trend assistant, and we've been bouncing. We've been using support. What you're looking for to enter trades is confirmation of trends. And even on the 1 hour chart, we have not confirmed to be in a downtrend. Now, here's the problem is you could say, well, I'm just going to buy. Like it's different. Most charts, unless the project is dying, they move up into the right long term. So if we're talking about the opposite, if I'm watching a price fall, let's go back to Bitcoin here for a second, and we'll come back. We're watching Bitcoin right now fall. I've said this before. Just because we touch 28,000 doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to enter a long, but I might buy because that's a good buy spot. Again, if we go down to 25,000, doesn't mean I'm going to enter a long, but I might buy because that's a good buy spot. Because I know long term, when I come out to the monthly chart and I'm looking at the history of Bitcoin's price action, price moves up and to the right. So there's a difference between buying and for holding long terms and trading. You buy when the price is falling because you're saying, even if it keeps falling, this was a good place to buy just in case this was the bottom. When it comes to trading, you do not buy at a low price. You wait for a bounce and a confirmation to the upside, and then you jump in on the trend to find those minimal gains here and there. The thing is, you're probably making trades a lot, and the whole concept is hopefully you're buying somewhere near the bottoms, you're selling somewhere near the tops, buying, selling with trades, but you're never doing it at the exact perfect spots. Like this is the monthly chart here. Let's say someone was macro trading. You're really not buying and entering long position until somewhere right here where we clear this former high. And then you're taking profits somewhere short of the peak. And then you're not entering a short right here. You're probably entering a short somewhere down here. We got the news of the Elon thing. You're like, all right, we're clearly going to the downside. Price is already moving that way. We're trending downwards and we have negative news. I'm going to go in short. And then you're going to take your profits somewhere in this range. And then you're not going to buy and enter along at this bottom. You're going to wait till there's confirmation we're moving back to the upside, right? That's how you treat trading. So going back to, what was it? It was NIO, NIO?
Correct.
Right. When you go back to NIO, we come down here to these shorter time frames, this 4 hour, we are not necessarily seeing, guys, a confirmation of move to the downside. So I can't just buy because the price action long term probably going up to the right. You don't just enter a short and say, well, even if we go to the upside, it's fine. No, this is one that could absolutely skyrocket, so that's a bad idea. You want to wait for a confirmation of a downtrend. What would that confirmation of downtrend be? More than likely a break below this 1 hour trend assistant. Let's turn it red. So what we're saying, and I'm not convinced it's going to happen, but I'm more looking at a short position, probably somewhere right around, and you got to prepare for wicks. Let's go somewhere around here in the 14. I'm kind of roughing this one, guys. 14, 15, $14 somewhere in there. And what I'm doing is I'm saying I want to take profit down here towards my dynamic reactor, but got to make sure my stop loss is somewhere up here towards the peak right here. And now you're looking at a potential 15% trade with a 9% stop loss. Not the most beautiful one in the world, but you get my point. I'm not entering a short here until I confirm a downtrend. For all I know, just like we did back here, we're sitting here setting higher highs, higher lows, and we're just going to do it once again and move to the upside. I don't want to enter that short. It's not time to enter that short. It's not time to do anything with NIO. It's time to sit and watch and wait. But I do believe if you had conviction, what you could do is say, you know what, in case this thing freaking takes off, if I get a price down towards 14.29 or so down to this trend decision, I might buy just because that's a good buy if this thing takes off long term. If you have conviction that this was just purely based off of some breaking news and you're convinced that we're going to move to the downside, you're waiting for another good buy spot. In fact, let's just pretend this was... Man, I might say don't buy that either. I might say wait till we touch the dynamic reactor to buy as well. I hear what you're saying. This is a very explosive chart, but sometimes in the crypto and stock marketplace, a lot of times people see these explosive charts and the mistake is, wow, this coin's really moving. I have to do something. And it's like, no, you do not. In fact, a lot of times, these are the charts you want to stay away from. It's the flat ones. It's ones that maybe you see constriction of Bollinger Bands. Like, for example, there was one we were talking about earlier. I can't remember Mantle. What's the ticker symbol for Mantle? Drop. We're gonna go back to get some suggestions here in a second, guys. But we're doing some trading alpha right now. MNT. Let's go, and it's gonna be hard because I think MNT doesn't really. It's got a weird chart. All right, MNT USD. Let's go BITGET. All right. So these are the types of charts you're looking at and saying, I want to look at a great position. Why? Because after having a very dramatic fall, the price action has kind of gotten boring and it's going sideways. And I guarantee you, if I pull up Bollinger Bands, we've been constricted in these Bollinger Bands for a while, which means a breakout more than likely is coming. And in this case, since we're hovering really close to all the lows for this market cycle, more than likely that breakout is going to be the upside. Everything you do is a risk, but this is one that's an educated risk with a probability that is time to move to the upside. You guys can also see we haven't broken the 1 hour trend assistant here. Oh, look at the 1 hour. Okay. Anyway, we haven't broken above the trend assistant since we have never just got above it. We broke the green one, turned it red, and we're not even touching it really. So I'm waiting for confirmation of a breakout there. I want to break above. I want to turn the trend assistant back green, but we're going to see the Bollinger Bands kind of expand after being constricted for a very long time on the hourly chart, and it'll be time to go ahead and go. Now, it might not be time right now. We just got a red reversal here, but I do think we're still preparing ourselves. Look at as even though the price constricted, the volatility in the oscillators, they're kind of just going back and forth saying it's not quite time yet. But this is a chart I'm looking at and saying, whew, I could get some good juicy trades on this coming up when things get better. When you look at explosive movements like we just saw with NIO, I'm the one to say there's no way to really tell is that going to continue to push the upside or downside unless you're just studying the news inside, outside, left side, right side for NIO. That's one I'm avoiding for now, T-Shroom. Hopefully that helps answer the question. Let's go back to Brocam.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. It's like you can only keep track of so much in the markets. Like there's an infinite amount of things you keep track of and profit off of. I tenuously have heard that the Chinese economy is kind of experiencing some upside right now. They're kind of revving their engines. Something positive is happening. So there is a fundamental story right now for especially those risk asset names like NIO, I believe is kind of how they pronounce it over there. Well, that's probably not how they pronounce it over there. It's about how Wall Street pronounces it. So there are some good things going on there. Are they going to beat Tesla in the long run? I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think anything's touching Tesla.
I'm not digging deep into either one balance sheet of Tesla or NIO. So, right, so you definitely need to take that into consideration when it comes to stocks. But if you're just trading NIO, I would say I agree with Tim. Is like I would take the bias of shorting this name. If investing in it, I would not short it in on a long-term scale because I think it's probably going to have more upside before the market realizes that China can't innovate as fast as Tesla. So, yeah,
cool.
That's kind of my thoughts on that.
Let's go back here to chat. We got about 10 minutes left here, guys. What other coins you want to do? Bedridden says, is that an evening star on the top? Bedridden, I'm sorry. It's hard to know when the message came in. Which chart was I looking at when you asked if it was an evening star?
I think it might have been NIO.
I just looked at NIO. I didn't see it on NIO. If he was asking about NIO, then the answer is no. It wasn't an evening star.
Yeah.
Let me turn that off. No, see, an evening star would. Okay, let me think of how to put it. An evening star, it would have.
Was it on AGLD?
AGLD. Let's see. USD. That was a while ago. No, there's no evening star on AGLD either. Nope. No, okay, so if you're saying NIO, I see he just said NIO. I didn't see one on NIO. Now the 1 hour chart, there's no evening star there. If you're talking about the 4 hour, nope. See, that's not one either necessarily. And by the way, that's one of the other cool things at Chart Prime. If you guys get Chart Prime, is it this one? Which one is it that you can come in here and turn these on for candles? It doesn't look like that one, so let's turn that one off. Market Dynamics Pro, I guess. Let's go into settings. Give me candles. All right. No, that's alert customization. Which one is it that gives us the candles? They take it off. Maybe they took it off this, and you have to use the candle. Let's see. Chart Prime. My scripts. Community script. Invite only scripts. I don't know why. It's not it either. There's an option in here somewhere, and this is terrible because I want to look at it. Candle highlighting? Nope. bullish candlestick patterns. Is he going to tell me?
He said NIO. He said it was on NIO.
I know. I took a look. I took a look at it.
Yeah. And what was it? The Evening Star?
He said a morning star. Well, yeah, did he say evening star? Evening star would be bearish one because I think that's what he's talking about.
Evening Star.
Yeah. Did he say morning star?
No.
Either way, it would pop up here because it would recognize it, and it's not doing that either. Just in case, because you could maybe make a case of like open to interpretation here. Yeah. My point here is I didn't see it with my own eyeballs, and I'm not seeing
the Evening Star that Google's familiar with.
The gap there, but yeah. So see how the candle body is low, and then there's a wick well above it. What we saw, if you're looking here, that's not one. Was he daily? Was he looking at the daily chart? See how that's high? Okay, I got to turn these off because it changes the colors of the candles. That's why it's not an evening star, because this candle body would be way down here. Would be the best way to describe that one.
There is one right here that's pretty elevated.
See, but that's where it comes like into like it open to interpretation type of thing. It's like I think some people would call this an evening star, whereas I don't, because we close so high here. It's reversing clearly. I mean, this is clearly telling us that we came up and then the price coming down. The problem with this is it very easily, as I was just talking about, could just come down, set a new higher low, and then continue to the upside. It's not a strong, even if you were to classify it as an evening star, it's not a strong evening star. A good evening star, if I could draw it for you guys, would look like this. Green candle, wow, so ugly, but it is what it is. Green candle followed by, if this was the candle body close, with a nice wick to the upside, maybe a little wick to the downside. I don't care if there's a little wick to the downside, followed then by another candle to the downside. Very ugly candles for me. That is a good evening star. What it communicates is that price, this is a green candle right here, guys. So price rallied up, closed high. It made a push to the upside, but then the momentum was harsh as it came back down, closing up here. It doesn't matter if this is a red or green candle. It's better if it's a red candle. And then when we moved into the next candle, the price accelerated down and closed low, right? That was a lot I just did there. Let me undo some of it. Now redraw this candle. When the candle isn't, though, like what I just described, let's say, for example, let's get rid of all of this. Get rid of these lines, boom, boom. When the wick comes up here, and come on, there we go. When the wick's high, and then you have the candle body right here, and then just a small wick here, what it communicates is the momentum continued. The momentum continued high and actually just had a small retrace before the next candle, and then there's a gap. That's to me, that's not a evening star. That the price, clearly something happened that moved to the downside, but there's not an overwhelming pressure moving us now into the downside. And that's also, you're really probably not going to see what I just drew that frequently. Now I get to get rid of all this nonsense.
Am I supposed to be on your screen? I'm just messing with you.
I know you are. Welcome to Tim's drawing. You can go back to BroCam now. Hope that was fun.
Oh, that would have been so brutal if you'd done all that work and it hadn't been on the screen.
It would not be the first time, guys. There was a time a year ago I was doing a private show, and I did 30 minutes straight of kick butt TA. It was amazing, and my chart never got shared. So literally,
was that Smay or was that your fault?
It was my fault because it was a private stream for teaching people TA. And so they're just watching me be really enthusiastic. I'm going through the TA and I'm explaining, I'm giving it play by play, and I'm saying different price levels. I'm like, oh, look at that. We're coming in and touching this level. And it was 30 minutes. But because I was doing I didn't have a second monitor. So like right now I have two different things. I have my computer and I have a monitor. So I can both see what you guys see and I have my screen, right? Well, because I was doing it just on a computer, I couldn't see what they saw. So all I knew was I was on my chart. And I couldn't see them, and I couldn't see the comments. So I didn't. There was literally. I went back, and it was just like a long list of Tim, share your screen. Tim, share your screen. You're not sharing your screen. Tim, share your screen. And it was rough, and it made me cry. So
really,
I say a lot of things made me cry. I definitely cried inwardly. I was an inward cry for sure. Oh. Let's see what we have here. I got 640. Let's do one more here. What are you guys wanting the last one to be? Sam James really wants us to look at XRP. I'll just tell you, we're not going to show the chart because, again, we need a member to say it. It's back up at 70 cents. I wouldn't say it's breaking out, Sam. Get a green name to say XRP, and I will go look at the
Yeah, it's
chart.
definitely not breaking out, but it's bullish. It's making some
It
good moves.
it moved to the upside just like Bitcoin, but breaking out is a strong way of putting it. Yeah, man, we need a green badge. We need a green badge to come in with the last suggestion.
I think Mr. J said Chargepoint. We didn't look at that yet, but he also said thanks, Tim. But he didn't say goodbye, so I think he is still in the chat. CHPT. It's another stock, and I'll look at it as well.
CHPT. Let's take a look.
Let's take a little look see at ChargePoint. ChargePoint, I believe, is a third-party EV charging company, meaning it's not affiliated with Tesla directly, or Chevrolet. So, I think I could be wrong, but I'll look it up and make sure.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so
what are your first thoughts?
Right now.
What do you see?
My first thought right here is a diamond formation. No. And since we're moving down into this, shouldn't that break to the upside? I'll be honest, I do not. I'm not a foremost expert on diamond formations. It's not a common one that you see. Is part of the reason why I don't talk about that frequently.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a diamond formation right there, which should move us to the upside. And if you would indulge me for just 1 second, I'm not saying that to this long, by the way, guys. But let me redraw this for a second. Actually, I got to redraw it real quick. Let's look at this. Boom. We got a nice diamond. We definitely have our pull down into the diamond. Boom. If I were to extrapolate this over, come on now. The way they would teach this, again, I don't talk about this formation that often, but they are saying, especially since we were able to close the same level, we should get back up. Is that going to happen? This is a stock, though. Stocks sometimes follow these formations and TA rules a lot better than the crypto space. So could we see another push back up to these levels we saw back here in February, back up around 1368? That's what this prediction would say, guys. When you're looking at diamond formation.
Did you already look at the oscillator? See maybe if
nope, I haven't. I just saw a formation jump off the screen, and I had to look at that. All right, we did just get a green reversal here recently, even though the oscillators were low. Honestly, guys, that's actually a good sign. Sometimes when the oscillators don't get super low, but you still get the reversal, that's actually a pretty positive sign. But you're seeing, as I drew with this red line, let me go ahead and get rid of my diamond formation drawing here. What we want to see them do is break out above, and more than likely, I would not be surprised to see, and we want to really see this happen to the price action. A break above resistance, probably get back up here towards the former little high, come back down, retest the resistance as support, and then we have a takeoff happening right there. But liking what I'm seeing there. Let's see multi-time frame support and resistance. Yeah, there's some levels up here. Is there going to be more levels? Yeah, okay. We got a good, very high order block back up here towards those levels. We were just talking about a 5 on the 4 hour. Not a very big deal for support and resistance there. Out of curiosity, where are we sitting with some of the majority of these? Ooh. Oh, sorry. We were talking about this one right here. Up here at 13. Now, this is interesting, T-Shroom. On the macro TA, we are very overextended to the downside. Everything's saying more of a move to the upside here. There's two arguments here. You can say, like, oh, look at this chart, overextended to the downside. Mm-hmm. Then you have to kind of say, like, well, why is it so overextended? It must kind of suck. So if you believe in Chargepoint Holdings, which I have no idea what Chargepoint Holdings is, I don't know that much about the fundamentals, don't know much about what's happening in the news with their investing and everything else. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you right now, if there's any reason to be if there's any reason to think that this company is doing okay and will make it, some nice support here on the chart saying that we should be able to push even back up here towards $20. When you move down towards 4 hour, let's put these down for a second. Let's see what the oscillators are saying on these lower time frames. Yeah, same thing. Nothing there crazy. Money flow definitely flowing to the upside here. So I'm seeing the shorter term. I think we're going to get the momentum to break through that resistance level, and it's about right here. Again, here we go. We're approaching mid levels on oscillators, even though we were moving to downside with a red reversal. I'm kind of looking bullish on Chargepoint. In fact, I think this might be one. We're not even talking about a short-term trade. I think this might be an interesting buy. Mm-hmm. And technically, you could still trade. I think an interesting buy that you maybe take profits. You maybe look at taking profits maybe somewhere around 13 just to buy in another higher low. And then I think you turn those multi-time frames. interested to see if we could push back up to 20. When were we at 20 last? Back in September of 2022. So it would be a new yearly high. But guess what? There's a lot of things right now setting new yearly highs. And maybe we're seeing Chargepoint just being continued delayed. Again, I don't know anything about it. Maybe there's a reason this company sucks and the stock's so low, but we are seeing the chart say that it's in a juicy buy situation for a nice little rally. The other thing, again, so I just did that one formation, guys. Guess what else we can see right here? It's definitely a falling wedge as well on a longer time frame. And maybe that'd be seen more clearly if I went to log chart with that touch. Well, you can make the argument. Okay, so what you could actually do is just cut through that one, come down here. You definitely have multiple touches there. And then you have the falling level of support. Bada boom. That's a falling wedge. That would give us a price prediction breakout. Let's pretend we end up breakout somewhere over here. That would also then suggest a move back up towards the $18, $19, $20 region. And I was kind of conservative with how we did it. You could come all the way down here. Yeah, this is an interesting one potentially to buy and look for a push back up towards $20. Let's just say you were to enter right now. That would be a nice 130% rally on Chargepoint. So again, it's suppressed. Something bad happened. Clearly, that's why the price is so far down. But if you believe in it, interesting trade opportunity there right in front of you. T-Shirt, what are your thoughts?
This is a really interesting play that I from an investment standpoint, honestly, it's very attractive because with the charging station industry, there looks like there's some fragmentation with some regulation around DC and AC, like different power metrics, different power approaches. I don't really know much about electricity infrastructure, but DC and AC are different. It looks like ChargePoint has kind of gone all in on AC power, whereas one of their competitors, EVgo, has gone in, and they've kind of diversified into AC and DC. But ChargePoint is much bigger. It's almost 3 billion. EVgo is 1.3, so not even. So it's about half the size. And what I'd say is, I think both of these, again, from an investment standpoint, I would just do both. I would probably slightly favor ChargePoint with it, just because it says that they have 50% market share. But I would say these are looking good, especially as they can continue to show that they're in profit. I didn't see if ChargePoint was in profit. Yeah, neither of these companies are in profit yet, so I would be keeping an eye on that as well. But I think ChargePoint is a little bit better of a buy, but EVgo is also a good buy. Here's why I like it from an investment standpoint, because you're neutral, right? You don't need Chevy or Tesla to win. You just need one of them to win. And for Americans to just buy hook, line, and sinker the whole EV narrative. And once they do that, not just Americans, Europeans and Asians, and other countries that are going to adopt it as well. And these companies are going to be able to come in and provide third-party charging stations, whether they be AC or DC. I don't know why regulators would care about that. Maybe there's a safety concern or an efficiency concern. But I would say from an investment standpoint, I like these names. From a trading standpoint, to be honest with you, I was doing a lot of research, so I wasn't paying super close attention. But that's more your call.
Guys, it is 6:52. My wife just texted me saying, "Where the freak are you?" Just kidding. She just called me, and that's even worse. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. But thank you so much for tuning in to Tactical Trades on Tuesdays with T-Shroom and your boy, Timmy D. I don't know why I just said that. That's how tired I am. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live Investing Bros show. You guys have a great evening. See you in the morning.